Hey, welcome back, rankers. How you been? Some of you may have seen that social media post that I put out last week about the difference between the approach of Amazon versus Shopify to agentic commerce. What is agentic commerce? It's what we've been talking about this year. We've seen it with the Atlas browser, but the first browser that, or the first tool out there that got most of the publicity was a browser called Perplexity, or the Comet browser from Perplexity. And this is an agentic browser. And what's going on right now is that Amazon is claiming that the agent for the Comet browser from Perplexity is actually a bot that is legally or unauthorized to be accessing Amazon and certainly user data. And because users are using Comet to go and buy things on Amazon. So it's a bit like what I showed you last week with the browser flow with, and I bought those things using the browser and put it in my cart. Here they are. Um, that was all done with an agent. So what is agentic commerce? It's basically using an agent to shop with. Now, the predictions for agentic commerce are huge. They're saying by 2030, it's going to be worth about $5 trillion. So why would Amazon want to block it? Well, because Amazon has a vested interest, billions of dollars, in fact, in their own ecosystem and the ads on their ecosystem. So if you're using an agent that's not one of their agents inside Amazon, it means you're not seeing the ads and your bot's not looking at the ads. So this is what it's all about. Comet, for their part, is saying that the agent, Perplexity is saying for their part that the Comet agent is actually a representative of the shopper, so therefore it's not unauthorized. When you contrast the approach by Amazon to that of Shopify, who are embracing agentic commerce, we've got basically a split in how we access things on the web. We've got walled gardens, Amazon, and we've got essentially open rails, which is Shopify and everyone else. As a user, I want my agent, like I showed you last week, to be able to go and do these things. And if you don't allow it on Amazon, I'm probably going to be eventually less likely to buy from you. And I think this is probably a bigger issue in the US, obviously, than it is here because Amazon is so much bigger. But one of the things that I've been talking about also over about the last month is this rise that we've seen in bot traffic. Now, some of it is just, your normal ChatGPT bots, or it is, just your standard bots out there. But some of it is actually scraping bots as well. And I've seen those increase. That's not what I'm talking about when we're talking about bots. When I talk about bots, primarily at the moment, all you're going to see in Google Analytics as far as this sort of agentic commerce goes is really through ChatGPT. That's all where we're seeing it at the moment. We haven't seen anything from Comet or Perplexity. And certainly, as I've explained, I'm seeing more than one client now where ChatGPT is probably up there with Bing organic revenue, if not better. And we're not talking a large percentage of revenue with these clients. We're talking maybe 1% of revenue overall. But the speed at which it's happened is extraordinary when you consider how long Bing Organic has been around. And one of the things that I looked at today with a pet store client was that they had an ECR on their ChatGPT referral traffic of 17%, right? That's insane, insanely good. And you compare that to Meta traffic, which was less than 1%. Now, as I just said to a customer earlier today, you can't necessarily just rate Meta traffic based on the last click attribution that we see in GA4, because there's a certain amount of brand awareness that happens through campaigns on Meta. So we can't discount that, but we also can't measure that, and that is an issue. What we can measure is transactions, and we're not. In the case of the clients we're talking about at the moment, they're in the case of the parts supplier, their ChatGPT traffic for revenue is overtaken their meta traffic. So their paid meta traffic, in fact. So what businesses need to start to think about is how are you catering for these bots. There is a school of thought that says we should be optimizing for 2 customers. I would say no. I would say the better way to approach this, because when people say you need to optimize for 2 customers. They said a similar thing with Google and the Google bot. You need to optimize for your customer, but you also need to optimize for the Google bot. We've always said no, you just need to optimize for your customer. The difference being with agentic commerce is that we have a representative of the customer acting on their behalf. Can they see everything that they need to make the decision, an informed decision for their shopper? And that's when we get back to sort of the old school SEO stuff, but also brand awareness as well really comes into it. And we've been talking about brand for years, and I'm really happy to see now with AI and ChatGPT and those sorts of systems that a lot of other people are recognizing just how important it really is. It's always been really important. And let's not forget, when we're talking about agentic commerce and all these other things, as I mentioned last night, how long before, Chrome has its own agentic browser? Well, it's already got its agent now available for use in the US within Chrome and AI mode. So it's already happening with Chrome as well. So any of these optimizations that we're talking about that we might do above and beyond that we would normally do for SEO, things like maybe FAQ on every product page, stuff like that, things that we might go through with a finer tooth comb now that we wouldn't have done for the Google SEO bot because the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. Now we think it's important because we need to make it as easy and as seamless as possible, because let's face it, you can look at maybe 3 products in 20 minutes. In that space of time, your agent can look at 3,000. You know what I mean? So how do we make it easier for them to do that? The question that I don't have an answer to right now is, how do we track this accurately? We still don't have that yet. And I'm still watching the bots carefully. And there are some that we want to block, but there's obviously others that we don't. But have a look at your own GA data and start having a look at things. Have a look at your direct traffic. And if you're seeing that consistently up high, you might have someone's built a scraper using AI, and maybe they're scraping your site for competitive analysis. But more importantly, go and have a look at your source medium and have a look at your ChatGPT traffic and go and have a look and see what it's converting at. You might be very, very surprised. Hopefully that's helpful. I'm away for 2 weeks, so you're not going to get another show out of me until I get back. But if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments wherever you see this video. And remember to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. And if you have any questions, just leave them. I'll answer them. And we'll see you soon. Thanks very much. Bye.